16th.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from July 16th.
I'll second that motion.
So were you on a consent then?
Was I? No.
Okay,
No.
so technically you can't second it.
So you have to,
So, yeah, so I'll second it. So
Okay.
Pat-
I read them. I don't know why I
Pat-
couldn't.
That's fine. Yeah, I guess you have to be at the meeting.
Is that how it works? All right.
So all in favor of that? Aye.
aye.
Okay, so the new business, the police report, including
vote on
the skate land update will be first.
Okay, good evening, everyone. As I stated, I'll have a written report to you after tonight's meeting. I don't have it with me. I'll start with our Skateland report. Skateland has been pretty quiet as far as police calls for service. So we've noticed a significant improvement as far as their operational, security details since they went with a new security company. I know I mentioned that back in July, but that continued for us and for them through the summer. So we appreciate that the partnership with them. There was one incident of significance that occurred there. However, it was simply related to the fact that two parties met there and a child custody exchange led to an altercation that we referred charges to the district attorney's office on, but it really didn't have anything to do with Skateland. It just happened to be there as a meeting place. So, and that was an example where it occurred in the parking lot. They're cooperative with us as far as providing video and other things like that. So I don't have anything else to report on Skateland. There was no other really calls for service there other than a 911 hang up call. And then of course our officers are still doing extra patrols. But it was overall a good summer there.
Okay, great.
So to continue on, this obviously period of July through now, so the summer months for the most part. Calls for service remain active throughout the summer. Of significance really are related to some pursuits that we've had. So we had 4 pursuits really within about a 2-month period. 3 of them involved motorcycles and 1 involved a vehicle that had stolen license plates on it. One of the motorcycles, we were able to track down the driver. It had no license plates on it. Some good investigative work by our officers that were involved in that. We were able to track down the driver, identify the driver, and really what it was had to do with, it was somebody that was working on a construction project in the area. And through some clues such as the clothing that they were wearing, the location that they were coming from, our officers were able to do some investigative work, identify the driver, and eventually he admitted to fleeing from the officers. So that person was arrested and referred to the district attorney. The other 3 are pending and were terminated in accordance with our policy, and will likely not have an outcome other than just a suspended case on those. So our officers did a good job on those. All of our pursuits that we have with vehicles are reviewed by either myself or Captain Benson, or in most cases, both of us, to ensure that there's no policy violations that are occurring by our officers, that their decision-making is sound. Involving a vehicle pursuit, they're usually debriefed. So one of our supervisors, myself or Captain Benson, will speak with the officer, get their detailed version of events, their decision-making process. Again, make sure it complies with the written policy, but then more importantly, that they're making good, sound decisions. And that would be the case in all 4 of these. So they continue to make good decisions. All of these pursuits were strictly traffic related. So there was no significance of a serious crime that was committed, or things like that. So any questions about those? Obviously we participated in the 4th of July parade, assisted with some traffic direction for that. I think it was a good event, a large parade, and no issues to report with that. So appreciate the working with the 4th of July parade committee to ensure that obviously our goal from the public safety side is that not only is it enjoyable for the public, but that we're providing a safe parade route and atmosphere for the attendees, the participants in the parade, and then the motoring traffic that might encounter the parade. So I think we did well with that this year, and it was a successful event. National Night Out we had back in August. Same thing. I think that event turned out very well. Personally, got some good feedback that was my first year, as I'll say running it. I don't know what other way to put it, but kind of overseeing the operational function to make sure that event goes off. Obviously, a lot of help from a lot of volunteers in the community within our department. We put in a lot of hours. I estimated probably 50 plus hours that our police department put in preparing for that event. So that's something that I'm going to continue to look at and see what ways we can maybe improve some efficiencies on that and how we do things. But overall, good positive feedback. And as far as our national night out budget goes, we'll be able to continue that event based on where we're at, and sponsorships from businesses in our community, businesses outside our community, and the other ways that we are able to support that event financially. So we're appreciative of all our partners with that, and I know it's a great event here in Butler, and we look to continue that. And if anybody wants to volunteer, has ways to improve that event, open to suggestions. Hot Rods on Hampton. That was a good event as well. The weather was great for all of these events this year. Hot Rods, I believe that we have a follow-up meeting coming up with the organizers, just to kind of debrief on that event, how it went, what went well, what could we do better, what could we do different. But I believe they were over 350 registered vehicles for that event. Hampton was parked up and down. The Village and Municipal South Lot was full of cars, and onto some of the side streets. So a great turnout, crowded streets, good event. Again, a positive thing for us here in Butler to be able to have and host events like that. And again, from our aspect, to make sure that they're safe, we provide the personnel to make sure that happens. Personnel updates. There's really nothing to update, which is good. We remain fully staffed. We have two officers that are due to come off of their 18-month probationary period, and that will be, I believe, one near the end of the year and one in spring, just off the top of my head. So I don't anticipate any problems with that. Our officers are continue to do a good job, and those that are again in that probationary period continue to learn. That's our goal. Obviously, within the organization is to mentor those officers and to ensure that they're providing service to the community. I think they're doing a fine job with that. I do have an update on our new squad car, our 2024 squad that we purchased earlier this year in the summer. The last update I had is that it's basically complete. There's we're waiting for the cage in the back, so the back seat that's set up to obviously accommodate people that are in custody. There was some sort of a delay or a back order on that one item, so we're waiting for that. And then we have a meeting this week with our computer people to make sure that we get the right computer and set up in there. We did repurpose one of our radios, so basically the walkie-talkie that goes in the cars. Those are not cheap. So what we did was we took a radio out of our administrative car, repurposed it into the new squad car, and then we're going to have that administrative car just without a radio for the time being, or permanently, which I'm comfortable with making that decision, and I think that'll work out well. So be excited to get that new squad out and in service. So obviously school is back in session. We've worked with, I've already met with the principal at St. Agnes, and we're trying to just improve and make sure that we continue to have a safe environment in and around the school, not only during the school day while our kids are there, but before and after school. Obviously, like most schools, from time to time we get complaints of traffic either backing up, people speeding through parking lots. So our officers have been very visible there, especially at the beginning of the school year. And we continue to work closely with them. That's one of my other projects or our programs that we're working on, is just having our officers out there before school, after school, interacting with the kids, interacting with the staff, just to have that comfort level. I think is important for the kids to see police officers in and around their school day, and it's not always a bad thing. Mm-hmm. So to see them after school and to interact with them, they want to throw a ball around or give high fives or whatever. I think that's good, positive interactions that we can provide and work with the staff and with the kids. St. Agnes staff has been tremendous to work with, and they support that as well. So that's one of our programs that we're working on. We did do at National Night Out, we we had a fundraiser, which somebody could get a ride for their kids to school in a police car. And so we had a family that donated regarding that, and myself and Officer Foose went out and had a great morning. Actually, I won't say better than expected, but it was pretty overwhelming. The response of driving these two young kids to school, all their classmates, really the whole school came running out to the back parking lot. The principal was receptive. It was one of the things that we probably took away more from it than the kids did, but just a really humbling experience and a good experience for the kids. The family was very appreciative.
Very cool.
Just another way that we're trying to engage with the community and with especially with young people in those moments again that aren't always negative interactions with the police. We did just complete in September our quarterly firearms training, so a 4-hour firearms training with our Lakes group that we train with, some other Waukesha County agencies. So that consisted of handgun and rifle training. Also includes decision making and some other things that go into it. It's not just going out to the range and shooting targets. So our officers completed that training, and we do have our new handguns that were in the budget this year were purchased, and we've begun training on those. And my hope is that by December, potentially early January, depending upon range time and staffing, that those will be deployed, and the officers will be qualified with those and then carrying those on a full-time basis.
So a complete different model.
Yep. So just for a little history on that, we currently carry 40 caliber handguns.
Oh,
We made a transition to 9mm, and we've talked about it in the past about some of the cost savings regarding ammunition, accuracy, things that go along with ballistic testing related to 9mm. So we're confident making that switch, and that'll be complete at the end of this year. And long term, I think it'll be not only good for our police officers, but again, I think there's some cost savings long term when you talk about training, ammunition costs, things like that.
100. So, Mike, you switched calibers, but did you switch model handguns?
Yep. So
I didn't catch that.
yeah, so we switched. So we're currently carrying Smith & Wesson 40 caliber handguns.
Yep.
We went with Glock 9mm, and then we went with a red dot optics on the gun. So instead of just the straight iron sights,
yep.
Then I'll have a red dot optic.
Yep.
That's part of the training process, and we could talk for a long time about.
Yeah, no, it's just a different animal.
Of that,
yep.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
I understand.
So,
thank you.
Yep. So I think that's a good change and a good thing for our officers. So, and then just 2 weeks ago, we were able to also within the capital budget for 2024 purchase new patrol rifles. So we purchased those, and they're in the process of getting the accessories purchased, mounted to get those in service. So I would anticipate that would also be by the end of the year. There's really no additional training that needs to go with that. It's the same style, same platform as what we currently have, just updated in newer models. And that project that was in the capital budget will be well within our budget on that handgun and rifle transition on that.
You call them patrol rifles?
Patrol rifles. Yep. So that'd be ones that are carried in the squad cars.
Are you running the MP5s or 223 platform?
Yep. So it's a 223 ammo, the AR-15 platform. We purchased them locally from Bravo Company in Heartland.
Okay.
And then just adding some optics, lights, things like that are necessary for us. And then I guess lastly, and this I guess we'll be getting into the budget for 2025. But I did meet with Ben and President Kasdorf about a proposal that I had regarding a bicycle patrol for our officers moving forward in 2025. And so obviously you all have some, I guess, impact on that, but the goal is to get one bicycle and some equipment to get the program started in 2025, assess it, and then see where we go from there with the program. But I personally am excited about that. I think it's another good way for our officers to get out in a different manner to engage in the community. A lot of studies and data that says officers who are out on foot or on bike, much more approachable, much more visible in the community than somebody that's sitting in a squad car, despite the fact that our guys do a good job of interacting while on patrol in their squad cars. So excited to hopefully get that program up and running in 2025.
We'll talk about it later, but I thought the budget document said 2 bikes.
2 bikes And that was before we had the meeting. The meeting was held on Thursday at 3:30. So that, and then we
That's fine.
discussed it and
Yeah,
reduced it.
okay, just want to make sure I
Yep.
read it right and heard it right. Okay.
And other than that, there's fortunately no other major or significant calls for service to report in the last quarter.
Outstanding.
So no burnouts or anything, trouble at hot rods?
Nope, this year
Good.
we didn't write any citations.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'll say we didn't need to. So I think, I think there's a cumulative effect of not only our presence, our visibility. There were some changes last year. We made a change where the vehicles that are part of the show, they're not allowed to line up and exit eastbound on Hampton across the bridge. They have to either go westbound or into the neighborhoods. So that's prevented what's previously,
Sure.
I guess I've been told about, where they would
the
crowds would
bridge.
gather, people would do burnouts over the hill or on
Yep.
124th Street. So yeah, fortunately, we didn't have any of those issues, and the organizers have done a good job of working with us and kind of sharing that word ahead of time, along with some of the local participants that are like, hey, that's not the kind of show we want to have, and they want to have a nice car show and not ruin it for everybody else. So you got to have 350 hot rods plus
one
and all the
citation.
attendees and not have one issue. That's our goal and our hope that people continue to comply with that.
And the weather was ideal.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Probably one of the nicest ones.
Yeah.
They were here at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah. They came early.
Yeah.
And you want the primo spots, that's what you do.
That is what I have.
Any other questions from the board?
No, I don't.
Thank you.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
And I'll just say that I talked with Pete very recently, and he confirmed.
Did we text them?
Yes.
We'll keep the meeting open, but on pause for Brewers updates and until Chief Zulik comes.
What?
What?
What's the score?
It's about 13 pages, so.
No, 3-2.
Yeah, you leave that open.
You want me to? I mean, the short version is officers have discretion.
We're losing 3-2.
3-2. We're losing 3-2.
We're losing.
Someone hit a homer.
I don't know. I don't have time to read.
Somebody that commits a crime, or other factors, so there's a lot of totality of the circumstances type thing, so if you're pulling something over for speeding, we've had it where guys will walk up to the car, they have driver license in hand. That's.
It'll be a huge savings with guys getting rid of their 9mm or getting rid of their 40s.
We're not even pursue that.
That ammo's that much more?
Yeah, and it's-
It
It came in as the
There was probably something in the car.
good caliber falling between the 45.
Yeah, so I mean,
For knockdown power, that was the whole gist of it, right?
So
Well, then it
so
became
anybody,
it's a fatter
anybody that's
bullet.
on duty.
So basically, it's a redone 357,
We really stress.
Okay.
40 caliber.
There's a lot of times.
So, It had a little bit more knockdown power, but the problem
So you're
was
constantly evaluating factors.
number of rounds away from your
Maybe
magazine,
expensive to the crime, for
so you
example.
get less
It's different if it's a
bullets.
speeding
Done.
citation.
Accuracy then, yeah.
And it went for a lot of years. We had to do 9mm, couldn't knock someone down, and so they poo-pooed it, blah, blah, blah. When they found out in special situations, they're still doing it as well. They needed more ammo, they needed more rounds, and the recoil, yeah, and the recoil is less on a 9, it shows you on a 40, right? So all those things, everybody went away from 9s, went back to them.
The other thing with guys, of course, now it's probably not a problem, but a couple of years ago,
That's one too, that things like that can't happen.
It's just us three. Oh, you got all of them? That's good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Here, I got two.
I'll give it a call.
Yeah.
Hello. How's your head doing?
Thank you.
All right. Let me apologize for being late, but we lost my mother-in-law this morning.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sorry.
so-
Arrangements, so I'm kind
Sorry
of
to hear that.
But so quarter three, run volume's pretty much the same. Pretty normal. Nothing super out of the ordinary as far as numbers go. We're right now, as of this month, we're just under 400 for the year. Manpower, we're holding our own, but I'm losing
Yeah.
2 more right now. EMT count's going down. I had one, one of my firefighter EMT, he got activated for Army Reserve. I won't see him for 14 months. Yeah. And I'll lose all 3 of my latest ones out of school.
Hmm.
It's just the same old story.
Hmm.
So, but we're holding our own okay. On the trucks, everything was doing okay. Pump tests went through, except it's going to be the same story on the ladder. The ladder is automatic fail on the pump test. We lost the pressure governor on it, and it's obsolete. I talked to pump guy, who came down and looked at it. He says 91. The parts are obsolete. The outfit that made the parts is gone. There's nothing. And to adapt a 91 truck to a new one is not worth the truck. And just now in the last, I had them in for, I had oil in, and I've lost the high pressure oil pump on it. It's running, ladder certified. Pump wise, we just don't have a governor on it now. So you have to pay attention. So if I was running multiple lines and say the ladder at the same time off of it, and I shut the ladder down, it's not governing itself when you set the governor. So, but
The aerial is still fully functional.
aerial passed,
Okay.
and that's true. I can put water out of it. It's just, you can't set the relief valve. And that which governs if multiple lines and you close one down, keeps the pressure, hold the sail, that's gone.
So do you guys ever train with hooking up lines from the engine to the ladder? Does it
Oh,
have
sure.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can always just not use the pump?
Yeah, I can put the pump, I can bypass the pump
Yeah,
if need
okay,
be
Yeah.
and use it just as a tower.
okay.
You know, I don't want to, the thing is, I would park it in that, but just on age alone, it's already non-compliant, but I want that of ground ladders.
Right,
Gives me
sure. Yeah,
versatility.
it's an
Because
equipment.
if I go down to 2 engines, I'm talking, I have 2 extension ladders.
Right, right.
That's all I have available. So,
Any other tools? All that,
and it,
yeah.
I mean, I've got 3 ladders near me between Brookfield, Menominee Falls, and Milwaukee. Yeah, problem is they're all big ladders that really don't fit down our streets very decent. So, but I've been looking around, I found, and then to find anything to replace it has to fit in that door. And 11 foot is basically the max. And that's if I could come at the door straight. And they just did everything that's made out there now in the last, anything in the 2000s is 11.8. Basically, it would have to have a 12-foot door, and that's just not going to work here. There's no way of getting that kind of height out of this station. So, but I'm working on it and looking what I can find. And then, even if we were to order a new one, I had Pierce come in, look at it, give me a quote on a truck that would fit in that bay, basically the same thing. It's 4 years out. From the day you order it, it's 4 years and 1.4 million. So, yeah. So we'll deal with it from there. Everything else is running good. Both ambulances are running good. The newest one, 63, I did have to do tie rods and alignment on. But that truck is already almost 10 years old too. So as far as drills went, EMS, we picked up our glucagon and epinephrine in June. We were going over iGel, capnography, everything that all deals with the defib unit. And that. And then we had the doc, Delary was in, and we went over burns in August. Fire drills, hose advancement on hand lines, and then breathing apparatus in July. And then August, because it was 95 when we were in here, we did in-house, basically everything on the truck. Everybody going through everything that was on there. As far as runs, biggest thing was the Briggs house fire in June. And that he did stop in at the August drill. John did, gave us an update. His son was out of ICU. He's figures possibly by December he might be able to get out of the hospital. And that. But his hair is coming back, was growing back, and that he was fortunate to be face down, and that the neighbors did get the fire kind of knocked down that fast, and that we got to him as quick as we did. So, and basically everything else is pretty much a normal. Did have a fire in a laundromat, dryer fire, that could have gotten a lot worse. Basically destroyed 2 dryers. And basically that's about it. Any questions? No?
I just quickly, so our ladder's kind of out of commission, and that's been coming down the road, but you said we have other ladders available, correct? So not that the board feels that we're,
No,
you know,
I'm not
I mean, we
saying
have-
that, you know,
no,
we're
I'm-
in dire straits.
No,
anything
but
like
I'm-
that.
my question is that you're confident with other fire departments being here pretty quick with a ladder if needed?
Not really.
No? Well,
I'm not confident, but I have options. You know, the chances of, you know, the Falls ladder is now stationed over here on Lily Road. They
Lily.
finished their remodel.
Yep.
That's over. Now it's a tandem axle 100-foot platform, which is going to do me almost no good in any of the residential streets. Anything with trees on, it's not going to work. You know, both Brookfield's aerial and City of Milwaukee's are tandem axle 100-footers. They're big trucks. They're not going to maneuver in our streets. But I really don't know if I'd really need it. Our houses aren't that close together. Possibly over on this side of town where we got duplexes we got going, but we're just going to have to work it by hand. And my biggest thing is, you know, if we would have something at, you know, any of the commercial stuff that I get up and over.
Right.
And I have options. I mean, our truck has been out to Mequon twice in this last quarter.
Right.
You know, it's still, everybody is relying on each other. And
Yeah.
I have a good working relationship with everybody, right down to Milwaukee, Tulsa, everybody. So I'm not terribly worried about it, but any one of them can be out, gone, you know, and based on when I come in, what I get on my information, I upgrade based on what I'm told, and that and get the page. So I get stuff moving. They're coming from, I mean, they're all coming from roughly about the same distance I'm coming from home. So it should all be here 10 minutes or less. So if they're in quarters. Is it great? Am I confident in it? 100%.
10 minutes is a long time.
Nothing's 100%. So,
Yeah, but that's,
you know, I wish I had 40 guys too,
sure.
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
you know, I wish 20 of them lived in town.
Mhm.
not gonna
How
happen.
many live in town?
Right now, 6.
It's
Out
more
of-
than I thought.
6 out of,
6 out of 28 live in town. I will admit, I've picked up 2 now that were just in through school, through WCTC, that went through it on their own. And then we're looking for, this last one I picked up is from 86th and Good Hope. And then they're going on it on their own, getting their school, and they need some experience. I says, I'll take you.
Mhm.
You're not gonna make the first truck. I hope you don't make the first truck, but at the same time, I can use the help.
Yeah.
So
everybody wins. Yeah.
I have a record of over the years, a lot of my people place full-time. I'm not quite sure what we do right, but they see our name on the application, they do get
Mhm.
a job. So I think that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yep.
Well, 95. Nothing's 100%.
Nothing's 100%. So, all right,
95 is great too.
Thanks, chief.
Thank you, chief.
very good.
Thank you. Be careful.
All right, we'll need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, at 5:32.